Welcome back to the Angry Man podcast with Jason and Greg. So you can see the level of disgust in Jay's face. That's because I have screwed this up multiple times, but we are back and now we are about to roll.
TJ screw up.
Oh man! All right. So Jay, yesterday we had what many would consider probably the biggest fight of 2026, as you and I have discussed. The only fight that's on the horizon currently would be Jerron Boots Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz. But there's nothing else that I feel that's on the horizon that is at the level of, I would say, at the same scale rather of this particular fight. So
Yeah.
very excited about the fight. Depending on who you are and how you view boxing, you can see it in two different ways. You can see it as an absolute great fight. You can also see it as a fight that could be possibly a snoozer. We did a poll on it recently, and we saw a pretty even split between people that felt that it could be a snoozer versus people that felt that it could be a fantastic fight. I can see it both ways, Jay. I can see it being a fantastic fight. We know Teofimo is the type of person that could be in an action-packed fight. We've seen him in those types of fights. Here, most recently, I felt that Shakur Stevenson has shown that he can fight in a more exciting style. Let's say that a more exciting style than what we've seen in the past, and still demonstrate the level of skill that we expect from a fighter like Shakur Stevenson. So, personally,
Mm.
I'm excited about the fight. Now, there are many people that are out there that have compared this fight to Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford, even Teofimo Lopez, which we're going to play a clip from Teofimo here very soon. We saw what happened with Canelo Alvarez. The thing that everybody pointed to in terms of his flaw is what ended up showing up in that fight, and that was his inability to move and cut off the ring. And he was not able to set up the type of punches against Terence Crawford that were necessary in order for him to win that particular fight. Could we see something very similar in Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur? Tio doesn't
Mm.
think so. Tio doesn't think so. So, number one, Tio believes, and this is an interesting one, and I'm very curious about what people will say in regards to this, but Teofimo believes that Shakur Stevenson is not that fast. And I thought about it, Jay, and when I went back and looked at the Padley fight, when I looked at him versus De Los Santos, um, who's the other guy that he just fought? The Golden Boy fighter. Sorry, I'm
Based
losing
on
his name.
Bradley, we talked was Zapata.
Yeah, Zapata. Um, he didn't look that fast in the Zapata fight either. So it depends on what you mean when you say speed. Do I think he's slow? No. Do I think he has cat-like quickness, like a Floyd or that kind of staccato kind of burst that Manny had? No. So I get what Tio's saying. I believe Tio going into this fight is actually faster than Shakur Stevenson and more athletic. So I get that part. And then there's the other part in terms of people believing that, he won't have the ability to really cut off the ring. And we've seen him in the ring with Sandor Martin. We've seen him in the ring with some other opponents that he didn't look good in
Jermaine
terms of cutting
Ortiz.
off Jermaine Ortiz. He didn't look good in those fights in terms of cutting off the ring, southpaw, slick, and all that other stuff. But he wants to let it be known that it is going to be a completely different fight. Jay, I'm going to play this clip here real quick so that people can hear exactly what Teofimo had to say. And I think Tio has a point, but I don't know if the result's going to be different. Hey, let's play this clip here real quick, and I guess we'll get back and tell the people why.
Canelo has a unique style that works for Canelo himself. Didn't happen that night. I had Crawford winning the fight, and he did. So this is not that, And my best attribute in my skill set is my footwork. So I look forward to seeing how much am I going to develop going against a fighter like him? What did I learn from all the fighters that I faced in my 23 fights as a professional fighter? So it's exciting.
Is there a rematch?
So here's my thing, Jay. To me, when he says something to the effect of, I'm excited to see what I've learned from my past fights that I can bring into this fight, that tells me that you understand that you have a deficiency when it relates to cutting off the ring, specifically with southpaws who are slick, right? That's how I view it. That's how I interpreted that. I think Teofimo is the most athletic fighter that Shakur Stevenson will have been in the ring with. I think he's going to end up being faster, and I still think Teofimo is going to lose because I think that style gives him problems. What are your
What do you
thoughts on that?
see?
Huh?
What's the one thing that beats speed?
Timing.
Bingo. That's Shakur's way to victory right there. To your point, Tio was definitely the most athletic fighter that Shakur would be fighting, and just as well, Shakur is the most defensive fighter that anyone will face, of course, especially Tio has faced. Even when Loma was confused and didn't do much the first half of that fight when he fought Tio, and he eventually held on to win that fight. I can't compare this to Bud Canelo fight at all. To me, they're not even remotely close. Tio's very athletic. He's not heavy on his feet, and he's tries to be slick in there as well. That's not Canelo. And plus, we saw Canelo the fight before, the fight before that, the fight before that, the fight before that, just went going down and down and down and down. As far as his ability, it looked like in the ring. Tio, he's going up and down. You don't know what you're going to get. Me and you were talking off the line, talking about how, maybe it's not necessarily Tio fighting a boxer per se. It's more so about a name. He didn't seem to get up for a Sandor Martin. Didn't seem to get up for a Steve Claggett or Jermaine Ortiz. Josh Taylor got up for. Josh Taylor's former undisputed, so he got up for that. Got up for Barboza. But there was also similarities. They both were slow of foot, Barboza and Josh Taylor. So I don't see this being compared to Canelo, but at all. They're going to be their own type of style of fight. It'd be a chess match, and to your point earlier, it could be a really good fight, technical fight. It could also be a snooze fest. We've seen them drop the sparring match between Tio and Shakur. We hope it doesn't look like that necessarily, because they were just kind of chilling in there, But I think it's a great fight to have, especially they're young. They're both in their prime still. Tio's coming off a good showing. So is Shakur. So I'm glad they're making it happen, but there ain't going to be no Bud Canelo. I don't see that happening. I do see Shakur winning, though.
I tell you exactly. Number one, Tio isn't Canelo Alvarez, but number two, and more importantly, Shakur Stevenson isn't Terence Crawford.
Ain't Bud. Yeah, ain't nowhere near.
Yeah, those are two different styles. I think Terence Crawford has the ability to be somewhat evasive while being offensive. And Terence puts out a lot of offense. Shakur
I'm about to say
doesn't.
he takes the fight to you.
Yeah, Shakur doesn't have a lot of his offensive game. He doesn't have the pop. He doesn't have he doesn't have the mindset. Terence Crawford has the mindset to go in there and I don't want to say seek and destroy, but he has the ability to go in there and destroy.
Yeah,
Not
Shakur
Shakur.
doesn't.
Yeah.
That's not
So
the mindset. Plus, after the Zepeda fight, he's like, I'm not fighting like this no more.
yeah. So I'm hoping that's not the case, but we'll see. But you guys tell us what you think in the comments section in regards to this. I'm hoping that we see an exciting fight, and I don't believe it's going to look anything like what we saw versus Canelo, Terence Crawford versus Canelo. But we will see something that ends up with Shakur Stevenson winning. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Anger Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, and we are out.